on, okay, my cat just likes to pop up when just, okay, honey, you. Hey guys, and welcome back to Hey Dr. Helene. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, and welcome. So by the title of this video, we can already guess that I'll be talking about physician burnout. And so I'm talking about this because as a third-year medical student, it's about to come to the point that I'm going to need to make a decision on what medical career that I want to spend the rest of my life doing. So I wanted to just talk about it briefly in this video and how it pertains to choosing a medical career. As of now, at my little 24 years old, seems a little bit scary. Actually, you know, it is pretty scary to think about that at the end of this year, in less than a year, I'll be having to decide on what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. Yeah. So physician burnout is basically defined as loss of enthusiasm for your work, a decline in satisfaction of joy from your work, as well as an increase in emotional exhaustion. This is very important, especially as a future physician, because you don't want to experience burnout in a high rate when you are actually practicing medicine. This video will basically pertain to information that was released by the AMA in August of 2018, so that was about 2 months ago. They basically surveyed physicians and got them to report if they were burned out. And so they have the top 5 specialties in medicine that have the highest rates of burnout, as well as the top 5 specialties in medicine that have the lowest rates of burnout. And so I'm just going to briefly talk about those, and I hope that you will take that into account, especially as a future medical student, a current medical student, or those that are in this third year of medical school and having to make this decision very soon. And so I hope this video turns out to be very helpful for a lot of you. And I know that even going through this article and reading about it and just researching it more has been helpful to me. So some things that were stated that lead to physician burnout include the amount of documentation and charting and other tasks that physicians are responsible for. And it totally makes sense from the outside looking in. You want to primarily be taking care of patients. Like, that's your whole reason for going into medical school. Like, when you write your personal statement, you're literally saying, I want to take care of patients. I want to help people do this, this, and that. And you have like these big dreams and goals. You have little exposure to the fact that you have a lot of clerical things that you have to do, like charting, documenting everything, billing, all of these things that you're just never really told until you actually take the leap into medical school, is when you're finally being told about all these other things that you're responsible for that you literally had no idea. I mean, I knew personally about charting, I knew about essentially that, but all the other paperwork is over my head right now, and it's something that can really tire out physicians, and they voted that as the top reason for burnout. Other reasons for burnout they put as, you know, having a lack of respect at work. So, you know, especially as a Black future physician, patients, I mean, they will literally see me and be like, so are you the nurse? Or why are you here? Or you'll literally go in there, introduce yourself as doctor, tell them this, that, ask them what their symptoms are, you know, tell them what tests you plan on running. And then as you're leaving the room, they will literally say, so when is the doctor getting here? I don't know about y'all, but having that happen would literally wear me out. And it's like, I did not go to school for all these years okay, y'all get the point. You know, those are some of the things that they say that leads to burnout. Some things that can help to alleviate burnout would be, as reported by 31% of physicians, is to have a more manageable work schedule. A lot of the fields in medicine, especially OB-GYN, especially some cases emergency, some cases surgical specialties, like you're gonna be working on holidays, you're gonna be spending long hours away from family, and that can get overwhelming at times, you know, when it comes to work-life balance, and that just gets, you know, a lot at one time. And so having to have like better hours, better call schedule. I know right now at my school, on the surgery rotation, we're on call every 3 days, and the call is for 24 hours. And so to be working for 24 hours every 3 days, but in the middle of those days, you still go to work. It's not like you work 24 hours and you have 2 days off, and then no, you work 24 hours, you have the next day off, and then you work a regular day, do 24 hour again, and then it just keeps repeating. And the thing is, we're only doing this for 8 weeks. Physicians are doing this for their life. So that can be a lot. And I know like the students in my class who are on their surgery rotation now are literally waiting for it to be over. Like, for that to happen within 8 weeks versus a lifetime that's pretty crazy to me. Other things to help burnout, it was reported to have more supportive spouses. I mean, I'm not married, so I can't really speak from experience, but from things that I hear, sometimes, you know, your spouse may not understand the lifestyle. They may not understand what is required of a doctor and why you can't go to DC, you know, for Christmas this year, or why you can't go to Nebraska for Thanksgiving because you'll be at work, and why you're working so much, you know? And that can definitely be stressful and constrain relationships. And so that was something that was also reported by physicians that led to their burnout as well. So now I'm going to talk about the different specialties that have the highest and lowest rates of burnout. So I'm going to start with the highest rates of burnout because I'd rather end the video on a happy note. So with the highest rates of burnout at number 5, we have emergency medicine. Now, I find this hilarious because I am actually very interested in emergency medicine. I have been exploring the field so much. I am kind of like set on emergency medicine at this point in my life. And for it to be number 5 on the highest rate of burnout list kind of sucks. So emergency medicine doctors are the doctors that you see in the emergency room when you go. So people that are coming in with heart attacks, strokes, whatever you go to the emergency room for. They can be high acute cases where people are literally dying and need to be helped in a very quick amount of time. And some people that come to the emergency room because they feel like their heart is beating too fast in their chest. You know, people come to the emergency room for all different types of reasons. And so working such high pace, working basically playing with life or death, you know, you see people die in the emergency room, you see people live. I mean, it can be overwhelming. Now, emergency medicine doctors do work overnight schedules. Sometimes emergency rooms, you can get lucky and there may be a number of people who work overnight shifts, so then nobody else has to work the overnight shifts, or sometimes you spread it out evenly, you know, it just kind of depends. But it seems like the scheduling for emergency medicine docs seems to be a lot more manageable with a work-life balance. So for it to be on the high burnout rate, it makes sense because you are around people that can literally be dying if you don't make the right decision at the correct time, but also can be very rewarding because you're literally saving someone's life right in front of your eyes. So of course, these percentages are literally percentages. It does not pertain to every single person in the field. Like, I've seen emergency medicine doctors who hate their lives, and I see emergency medicine doctors who absolutely love it and would completely choose it if they could do it all over again. So of course, I'm taking these percentages as a grain of salt, but it's something that I'm taking into account when choosing a specialty. At number 4, we have tied for internal medicine and OB-GYN at 46% of reported burnout rates. So internal medicine doctors are what you think of when you think of like a doctor. Like, these are the ones who manage chronic illnesses, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol. These are the ones that you kind of just go to for anything. Like, if you're 18 years old and above, you go to your internal medicine doctor or your medicine doctor or your adult doctor, and they basically know everything. Like, these are the doctors who are very smart. They relate to their patients. You can work outpatient or inpatient in this case. So the outpatient hours tend to be a little better than the inpatient hours, but then again, it depends on what you want as a future doctor. OB-GYN are the obstetrics and gynecology doctors. So these are the ones that work with primarily women. These are the ones who deal with women's health, who deliver babies, who participate in surgeries that deal with womanly body parts like the uterus, ovary, things like that. However, they can have very demanding call schedules, which is why I'm not surprised that they're on the high burnout list, because I mean, babies don't just pop out when it's 8 to 5. Like, babies come when babies come. So if you're on that labor and delivery, I mean, that can be a very stressful time. And OB-GYN also have one of the highest malpractice insurance rates. So that's also something to take into account as well. Both of these specialties are primary care, so they do tend to get paid lower than specialists. But I mean, once you get those loans paid off, girl, you in there. At number 3, we have family medicine doctors at 47%. Now this actually surprises me because family medicine doctors tend to have the 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I have my weekends off. I have a husband and a family and kids, and I can do this, this, and that. But for some reason they are burned out. So the AMA doesn't specifically present why they are number 3 on this list. But when I was on my family medicine rotation, I mean, all of the doctors that I worked with were happy. I mean, they were all pretty darn satisfied with their career choice. I mean, they didn't seem to be stressed out about their work and about their home life. So I'm actually pretty shocked by this. But my theory for why this is the case is because family medicine doctors tend to make lasting relationships with their patients and their families. They literally can take care of kids and adults from the cradle to the grave. And so if you become very close with a particular family, if there's something that happens to me, they're likely to share it with you because by this point in time, you've built a trusting relationship with them. So when they come to the doctor, they are happy to tell you what's going on in their lives. So if something is defeating them, or let's say their husband is diagnosed with cancer or something like that, you know, you may take that to heart and you may like take that home with you, which could also which could possibly lead to the burnout. That's just my theory. I don't know if that's true, but that's just what I think, because for family medicine to be on this list is quite surprising. At number 2, we have neurology. I'm also a little shocked by this one too, just because neurology, I mean, from what I understand, I don't know that much about neurology, besides the fact that these are the doctors that take care of illnesses and diseases in the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So people that may have like debilitating strokes, people that may have like brain tumors, people that may, they help to diagnose these things. People with Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, things like that, multiple sclerosis. I haven't really talked to many neurologists out there. They seem to be happy, but I don't know, this one is quite shocking. It's like a field that can deal with life and death a lot as well, because diagnosing people with tumor really be a burden on not only the patient but on their whole entire family. It's something that can literally change so much in one sentence, which could possibly be why they're number 2 on this list. At number 1, we have critical care at 48%. Critical care are the doctors that basically deal with the sickest of the sickest patients. These are patients who may have gotten in a car accident and have become completely debilitated, or maybe these patients are in the ICU, intensive care unit, being treated. And so this is a lot of dealing with do we resuscitate the patient? The patient needs end-of-life care. What do we do? So this is maybe a field where you see a lot of death on a daily basis. Every time you come in, there could be a complication, so really sick patients get sent to critical care. It's called critical care for a reason, right? So for them to be at number 1 on this list doesn't really surprise me, but at the same time, it can be super rewarding. Having someone who is critically ill, and then in a matter of time, with the care that you provide to them, they can be healed. It's amazing. So taking these into account, of course, taking these with a grain of salt. These are just percentages based off of physicians who took these questionnaires, so I'm not going to let it completely deter my future field that I decide to choose. So on a happy note, I'm going to talk about the medical specialties that report the lowest rates of burnout. So at number 5, we have orthopedic surgery at 34%. A lot of people are familiar with orthopedic surgeons. These are the ones who do hip replacements, knee replacements, who fix torn ligaments and this and that. tend to be people who are pretty smart. These are people with high step 1 scores, you know, 240s, 250s easily. You know, people who tend to have a better lifestyle, may have weekends off, can maybe choose their schedule. I know surgeons a lot of the time can, you know, do surgeries maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then consultations Tuesday, Thursday. So, you know, just having 3 days of surgery might alleviate, you know, the stress. At number 4, we have ophthalmology. These are the doctors that do stuff with the eyes. So surgeries for glaucoma, surgery, you know, cataract surgery, things like that. The ophthalmologist takes care of that. This is also another very competitive specialty with step scores, 250s. I mean, the thing about these specialties that tend to have better rates of burnout are probably the ones that are the most competitive, because the lifestyle's a little better. You get paid a nice little check. I haven't really seen like ophthalmologists be called like into the emergency room for a consult. So they may have pretty decent hours as well and don't, you know, get called for anything very often, which is also a nice plus as well. At number 3, we have pathology at 32%. So pathology are the ones that work with dead people. Let me put that in like a different, that sounded really, you know, pathologists are the ones who look at pathology. So the science of disease and how diseases are. So they'll look at biopsies of things and histology, and also look at autopsies and like perform autopsies on patients and stuff like that. I never thought about pathology as a potential career choice for me. I prefer to work with patients that were alive, so that wasn't for me. But it seems like pathologists seem to work a pretty good lifestyle. I don't even know if they work call, because I don't know why you would call a pathologist at 2 in the morning. Actually, I feel like they don't have to emergently like do things, you know, at crazy hours in the night. So at number 2, this completely does not surprise me at all, at 32%, dermatology. I mean, when people talk about a great lifestyle and a nice check of $400,000 a year, you think of dermatology. I mean, these doctors basically do skin. They're skin doctors. You know, they can literally treat acne or they can treat skin cancer. I mean, it is a wide array of things. You have to be really just detail oriented, good with your hands, and just good at pictures, honestly. Have to be able to look at people's skin and figure out what's going on, and how you can treat it. I don't believe that in a lot of cases they work the weekends or anything like that. So dermatologists seem to have a fantastic lifestyle. Again, these are one of the specialties that are super competitive. You need to have really good step scores, board scores, research to match into this specialty. But once you do, kudos, man. And at number 1, at 23% of burnout, like, that's really good. I mean, I don't think any reported burnout is good, but 23% is decent. And that's plastic surgery. So these are surgeons that can help people who are burn victims and need like skin grafts, to people who need reconstructions of their face because they may have gotten into a traumatic injury. Or even like Dr. Miami, and can do breast reductions or tummy tuck. It seems like a fun career. It seems like it would literally be a bundle of joy doing that, and you get paid well and work pretty good hours, and they do seem pretty happy. So those are the specialties that have the highest and lowest rates of burnout according to the American Medical Association. I would say to take these percentages with a grain of salt. Don't let them deter you one way or the other, but definitely just think about it when you're choosing a specialty, especially if you're a third-year medical student right now like me, or if you plan to become a doctor one day. I think it's important to not only look at, you know, what you love, lifestyle, salary, things like that, but also, are you going to be able to like last in that specialty, right? So I hope this video helped. And that you were able to learn a lot. I know I've been learning a lot about this as well. I hope that even as a medical student or a law student or whatever field that you're in, or if you're a college student right now, I mean, just having ways to combat burnout, because physicians aren't the only ones that, you know, have burnout, right? Like, I mean, people in a wide variety of fields can have burnout. So just knowing, you know, to exercise or to swimming or whatever you find fun, to remember those things and to keep them as a priority, especially when you are going through like a grueling process in your career. And also, if you're a medical student and you're looking to figure out what career you think will best fit you, what will fit your personality, what will fit what you want to do as a future doctor, there is a survey, or well, it's more like a questionnaire on the AMA website, I believe. I don't quite remember, but I have the link to it and I will post it below this video if you're interested in doing that. I myself have not taken this questionnaire yet, but I do have plans on doing it very soon. And if y'all are interested, just let me know in the comments. I'll even post my results from the questionnaire in another video and see if it matches with what I'm currently interested in. So once again, thanks for coming to my channel. Thanks for your support, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.